Greetings gamers, this is Alan with Gametime again, bringing you the unboxing and introduction video for Perpetuity, Grave Descent, a science fiction worker placement board game coming to Kickstarter at the end of September 2021. This is a prototype version of the game, so keep in mind that it may appear a little differently when we go into production, and hopefully it will be even cooler. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to build the center board. This centerpiece here helps to keep all the sections in place. There are 4 sections, beginning with the space station on one end. The space station is unique in that it has a shield that actually protects it from the forces that will exist throughout the game. And the space station will look like this. The other 3 sections are the nebula, where you collect fuel, the asteroid field, where you collect ore, and the colonies, where you will collect food. And each of those elements of the economy of the game will help you accomplish different things, such as building ships, flying missions, training workers, etc. The resources for each section look like this. Here's a fuel. Here is a food. And here is an ore. We won't go into all the details of how to play the game. We'll save that for a future video, but this will give you an idea of what the game looks like. Now, the game board is also made up of, actually let me go ahead and put the center in place first. This is the center area, the system of Perpetuity, if you will, that will rotate around throughout the game. On top of this board, you will find 4 planets. Now, the planets are made up of a clear disk that allows us to not only have the planet, but to put satellites around the planet. Perpetuity is a artificial star that was built by aliens millennia ago, and each of the planets has what is known as a protector, 4 of them actually, that are placed around the planet, and these 4 protectors help keep the forces coming from Perpetuity in balance. And each color represents a different force: time, gravity, space, and matter. Now, the premise of the game is that throughout the game the protectors will be destroyed, and as they are destroyed, the planets will be destroyed as well. And the forces that the protectors represent will actually cause various problems for your workers throughout the game. And we'll, of course, get into that in future videos. Now, the other element of the game is that each of these sections have work tiles. The work tiles look like this. Now, each work tile has 2 sides. In this example, this is part of the nebula. A worker can collect 2 fuel, but it will cost them 1 ore to get those. However, workers can upgrade the tile, which will actually remove the cost component for this particular tile. Now, different tiles will have different features, but the tiles plug into each section like this. The game generally starts with all the tiles on side A, but there are some elements of the game where you may actually start in different configurations. So the nebula would look like that. These ones are for the space station. Now, the space station has worker tiles that allow for the setup of outposts on the planets, to buy blueprints for your ship, to train workers, and to upgrade your workers and things of that nature. The colonies allow you to collect food, but also have an abandoned planet where you can seek out artifacts. Artifacts are an element in the game that allow you to negotiate with aliens on the planet, to recharge your shield, and you can also use those artifacts to purchase anything in the game. So they're quite powerful and very useful. And the asteroid field, of course, is primarily for collecting ore, but you can also establish an outpost on planets that are within this range. Now, the other element that we will show you real quick is the shield. So the shield here will actually show a charge indicated by these gems. And these gems will diminish each round of the game. And it's up to the players to actually keep the shield charged. If the shield fails, what will happen is the space station will likely fail very shortly after, because all the tiles will take damage. Damage tiles look like this. So these are the damage tiles for the game. Every work tile on the main board has an associated damage tile. For example, this is the one for the shipyard. And I will just go ahead and show you what these look like. Now, when a damage tile is in place, we'll put one in the nebula, for example. Actually, we'll take these ones off. We don't need those. We'll put one in the nebula. So this work tile is now damaged. And that damage tile helps you keep track of how soon the damage will become permanent. So you'll place a damage marker here on the 3, and that indicates that a worker can repair it for 3 ore. Each round, any tile that is not repaired, the damage will actually advance and become more expensive, and when it reaches the end, it will destroy the tile completely. We also have some warning markers to indicate that the tile is damaged, and that indicates to workers that if they attempt to use the tile without repairing it, there will be a risk that the tile may get further damaged or the worker might get harmed. Now, the workers in the game are represented by 3 different meeples. You have a level 3, a level 2, and a level 1 worker that can be used by each player. Now, those worker levels are important aspects of the game, which we'll go over in a future video, but just know that your higher level workers are more likely to be more successful in any chance encounters, and will also generally produce more resources. Some of the work tiles will actually reward you based on the level of your worker. Now, the dice in the game, dice are used in a few cases where there is the need to simulate a little bit of chance. Most of the game is strategic, but it is, of course, an unpredictable system, and so there are some things that you'll have to account for. The dice, the skill dice in particular, allow us to roll based on your worker level. So when you're using the skill dice, for example, the level 3 worker only fails 1 in 6. All the workers will actually be successful if they get their level or lower. So for 3, it can roll a 3, a 2, or the 1 and be just fine. If it rolls a red X, it's going to fail 1 in 6 times. For the level 1, though, it can fail on the 3, the 2, and the red X, which indicates that the level 1 worker is only successful 50% of the time. Now, not everything uses a chance encounter, but the ones that do, that's how those work. The green and the red dice allow for the exploration of the planets. On the planets, what you will do with your workers is actually establish an outpost. And an outpost is going to look like this. The outpost on the planet, which will also be marked with one of your player tokens, so we know who it belongs to. The outpost allows you to claim one of these worker boards. Now, the worker boards are really just there to keep track of the fact that you have a worker on the planet so that you can explore, try to locate aliens on the planet, collect resources, and once you locate the aliens, negotiate with the aliens and actually encourage them to get ready to leave the planet. Now, the alien tokens look like this, and different aliens have different affinities, which make it either more or less difficult to get them to leave the planet. And we'll go over that in a future video, but that's what those look like. Once you have aliens in your outpost, of course, what you're going to need is you're going to need a way to get them off the planet. Players can build a ship. They do that by first purchasing a blueprint, then using a worker and the resources indicated to build the ship. Once they build the ship, they will get a little ship meeple here, and that unlocks the ability for them to load the ship with fuel or cargo, and then to use their workers to fly the ship and perform a mission, in which case they would fly from the outpost here and fly to the planet and then retrieve the aliens or the workers or the resources that have been collected on the planet. Now, just as I mentioned before, the higher level workers are going to be more successful in your missions that involve the ships. We also have a couple of other elements in the game that will help you. These are upgrade tiles. When you build a ship, you can strengthen your ship in a variety of ways, including adding additional shields, additional fuel capacity, being able to carry additional groups of aliens. There's some upgrades that allow you to automatically load and to automatically repair. And so that is another element that allows you to create very powerful ships. Additionally, there are research cards. Research cards can be collected for points or in competitive play, and can be used for a variety of things, including special abilities, increasing your incomes, interacting with the protectors by extending the game, and a variety of different power-ups that are really powerful, especially in competitive play. Now, it looks like we've covered most everything except one of the more important parts, which is the player board. Every player will get a unique character, and the player board helps you keep track of a variety of things. It helps you keep track of the income that you would gain each round. Income, you get an initial income, but income can be increased by upgrading tiles around the board, in which case you'll get more incomes. It also indicates what your special ability is. As for this character, every character has a unique asymmetrical ability that will give you an advantage in one particular area. There is a competitive mode and a cooperative mode, and in cooperative mode, each of the characters also has a special, we call it the ultimate sacrifice, where they can do one special action that will perhaps help you not lose the game if a planet's about to blow up or an alien group is about to be killed. Now, the win conditions for the game are that in cooperative play, all the aliens and the workers are rescued from the planet. In competitive, of course, you're looking out mostly for yourself and trying to get as many prestige or victory points as you can. And then in solo varies depending on the scenario and depending on the mission. That about covers all the basic elements of Perpetuity. Now, in future videos, we will go through in more detail how to play, but hopefully that gives you kind of a snapshot of the different dynamics of the game. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll follow the campaign. And if you have any questions, be sure to comment below or to send us a message. Thanks for joining us. Take care.